I want to thank all the county board chairs, the county commissioners, the county managers, the mayors, the city councilors, the city managers, the local government staff who are gathered here today. It does not matter what office you hold or what position you serve in, you're here for the same reason, which is that you care deeply about your constituents, and you want to make sure that we do everything in our power to help the people of West North Carolina get back up on their feet. And I want to thank you for that. Y'all are on the front lines of what people need. You're where people go to when they need help. And you've done an incredible job getting people the services, the support that they need. I know you all are working hard. You've been doing it for over 6 months now. 6 months anniversary just a couple weeks ago. And I know it's exhausting. And I know that when you raised your hand to serve your community, you had no idea what you were signing up for. But I'm so glad that you have, and I just encourage you to keep it up. It's incredibly appreciated what you're doing. And we in the state, I say our federal representatives are here as well, we at the state want to do everything we can to support you. On my first full day in office, I traveled out to Western North Carolina here in Asheville to sign 5 executive orders to cut red tape to make it easier for people to get back on their feet. I've been back 11 times since then, including today, which is my 100th day in office. But it is not about how many times we visit. It's about the work ahead. It's about tackling that work and doing it to the best of our ability. I am committed to being a strong partner to you as we get the work that we need to get done. As I mentioned 2 weeks ago, we passed the 6-month anniversary since Hurricane Helene devastated so much of Western North Carolina. Traveled to Mill Springs, to Fairview and Burnsville to meet with families, many of whom lost loved ones in the storm. I see Representative Aker, he was with me in Fairview. That community in Fairview lost 13 members. There aren't that many people. 11 of them from one family, the Craig family. They included Battalion Chief Tony Garrison and his nephew Brandon. They died trying to save others. I met a number of surviving members from the Craig family that day, and their emotions are still incredibly raw, as you would expect. It is hard for us and for them to wrap our heads around what happened. They're still trying to heal. They're also trying to move forward. Chief Garrison's son, Dylan, has been training at AB Tech to become a firefighter himself. He wants to honor his father's legacy by serving his community in the same fashion. Incredibly inspiring. Dylan's commitment to continuing his father's legacy is so impressive. That 6-month anniversary day was an incredibly emotional day. It hurt seeing up close and personal how families are grieving still the events of September 12th, and they will for the rest of their lives. But my time with the survivors that day provided me hope that our recovery efforts are progressing and that Western North Carolina residents are incredibly resilient. It renewed my conviction that we must keep at this work, so we all have to strive like Dylan to take inspiration from the tragedies that happened that day to inspire us to do right by our communities in the same fashion. On March 19th, I was honored to sign a bipartisan bill that the General Assembly passed of $524 million in aid for Western North Carolina. The bill supports farmers who encountered crop losses, provides $120 million for home reconstruction and repair, $100 million to repair private roads and bridges, $20 million towards removing debris, and more. That bill is nowhere near enough, but it is enough to get started. Understand the scale of this crisis, $60 billion in damages. By more than a factor of 3, the most damaging storm to ever hit this state. One of the most damaging in the history of the United States. We've only begun to scratch the surface of people's needs. In the weeks ahead, I'm going to be sending to the General Assembly a second Helene budget focused on the ongoing housing needs, support for small businesses, revenue replacement for local governments, and desperately needed wildfire prevention efforts. I've heard from a number of members in the General Assembly that they share the same conviction that the work that we did last month, that $524 million, it is only the beginning. And I look forward to working with the General Assembly to get another Helene package enacted. And as we continue our efforts at the state level, we also have to continue pushing the federal government to provide aid that the states simply cannot afford. Understand, state budget's $34 billion total. Damage is $60 billion. We do not have enough money in the state of North Carolina. You all do not have enough money in the region of Western North Carolina to deal with this crisis alone. And we've never asked communities that experience disasters of this magnitude to do it alone. The federal government is supposed to be there for us. They need to do substantially more. In February, I traveled to Washington, D.C. and met with our senators and some representatives and put in a request of $19 billion. $11.5 billion in new appropriations, $7.5 billion of allocations of previously appropriated dollars. 2 weeks ago, on March 26, we submitted to HUD our action plan. This is to get our share of an allocation of previously appropriated money. It's $1.6 billion, a little more than that to the state. City of Asheville gets a little over $200,000. The rest goes to the state. North Carolina was the first state impacted by Hurricane Helene to submit its action plan. In fact, in the last decade, after a major hurricane, no state has been faster in submitting its action plan. We want to get those dollars, and we want them immediately. We want to expand the housing construction that we intend to start this summer with the state money. The dollars will help make a timeline of getting actual hammers on nails by the end of this summer a possibility. To our knowledge, there's never been a state that has received federal money that has been able to start home reconstruction within a year of that storm. The federal government still has to do so much more. No matter what holds the future for FEMA or other programs, the one thing that remains true is we need federal support. We cannot do it alone. We need their help. As we work together to advocate for increased investment, I'm also working with state leaders to make sure that we put our dollars to work in the region as quickly and as effectively as possible. And let's look at some of the milestones. More than 4,800 families are currently receiving temporary housing support. More than 1,300 roads have been repaired and reopened by crews and contractors of the North Carolina Department of Transportation, including, as of March 1st, I-40, 2 lanes, one in each direction, connecting us back to Tennessee. More locally, just a week ago, the Swananoa River Road was reopened. More than 7.4 million cubic yards of debris has been cleared, including 5.3 million cubic yards of debris from public rights-of-way. That's thousands and thousands and thousands of Olympic-sized swimming pools worth of debris. And I got a number of my people here, and it's a little more than I usually have when I travel. I don't have all of these guys. But they came up yesterday and spent the afternoon cleaning the Swananoa River, and I think they did 15 trash bags full. So thank you guys for what you did. Cleaning debris helps first responders save lives and allows people to safely travel within their communities. It also creates a clean slate from which people can rebuild. Waterway debris removal continues this spring, and we're aiming to complete the removal of eligible private and commercial property collections by July. I'm grateful for the legislature's appropriation of $20 million for unmet debris removal needs that they did in March, and we're now working to put those funds to use here in Western North Carolina. That's not all. 97% of wastewater systems have been restored. Every water system is in operation, 92% of them normally. We've seen more than $160 million of SBA loans already reach the hands of North Carolina home and business owners. We've launched our private roads and bridges program so that folks can apply for state funding to repair the roads and bridges that make it possible for them to access their homes. It will help residents and emergency vehicles get to where they need to go more easily. In January, I announced that our state would be partnering with the Dogwood Philanthropic Trust and the Duke Endowment to provide grants to small business owners. I was meeting with Jack Cecil from Biltmore earlier this morning. Dogwood has been an incredible partner. $35 million in small business grants have been allocated to more than 1,000 business owners, helping to keep their doors open so that when the summer tourists come, they can serve them and get back up on their feet. And if you are hearing from your small business leaders, I need you to reach out to every one of your state representatives, House and Senate members, because they have not appropriated money for this purpose. And we need their help in the next round of appropriations. Because if they give us business support a year from now, it's going to be too late. We need these businesses that are struggling to survive today so that they can serve customers tomorrow. Final word on a broader issue is I want to thank all of you for the work that you did to help North Carolina achieve Medicaid expansion 2 years ago. An incredible accomplishment on a bipartisan basis that has been life-changing for 650,000 of our neighbors. We just crossed that threshold last week. Since the storm, 21,000 families have subscribed to Medicaid. All of that is at risk with the budget proposal that the U.S. House passed yesterday. Your federal representation, House and Senate, needs to hear from you about how devastating this will be to your people, to your hospitals. Rural residents disproportionately take advantage of Medicaid because they don't earn enough to get it on the open market. We need your help defending people's health care and our health care system. We want to support rural hospitals. We do not want any more to close their doors. Since 2010, North Carolina is among the states with the highest number of closed rural hospitals. We cannot afford any more. Your communities no community can thrive without a hospital or access to one nearby. We understand that we have a lot of work ahead of us. We got so much more work to do. But I'm proud of how hard everyone has been working and how collaboratively we have been working. It's been an all-hands-on-deck effort. I want to thank the members of my Western North Carolina Advisory Committee. I see a number of you here today. They have provided help and are putting together that action plan that we've submitted to HUD. And they just share a useful perspective on the daily needs of the people of West North Carolina. And I was just talking with Kevin Leonard earlier, and what I hope out of this 2 or 3 day session that you all have is you come up with a list of what your needs are today so that it can inform our work with the General Assembly to make sure that we're being responsive to the needs of our counties and cities. I want to thank the state agencies that are working so hard and in a coordinated fashion to speed up our recovery efforts. Grow NC, the Governor's Recovery Office for West North Carolina, in my office, headed by Matt Calabria, who, by the way, is a former county commissioner from Wake County. They have been doing a great job ensuring that we're working across state agencies, all in concert toward the same end. And I want to thank you, our municipal and county government leaders. You stepped up immediately to help your residents get through the next day, to get through the next week, to get through the next month. It's been truly inspiring. And I know that there has been an issue of frustration with FEMA reimbursements on expenses that you all incurred that are reimbursable. I've been meeting with acting FEMA Administrator Cameron Hamilton on a regular cadence to try to get these funds moving. And we're working with our federal delegation to try to get these funds moving. And I'm optimistic it will happen. I'm glad that FEMA is here today. I've heard from local governments about work that you all have done, and you're waiting for weeks and weeks to get reimbursed. Cash flow needs, we all know that. My first budget request to the General Assembly included revenue replacement grants for local governments because we know how sorely needed cash is to your communities. And we will keep pushing for them in my next appropriation request as well. Another top of mind priority for local governments in Western North Carolina is the ongoing threats of wildfire. I know we all liked that rain last night. Polk, Henderson, Swain, Buncombe, Transylvania counties in recent weeks have been dealing with some awful wildfires. At one point, it was the most threatening wildfire in the entire country. I had declared a state of emergency a couple weeks ago to rapidly mobilize a cross-agency response to those fires, and I'm incredibly grateful to the firefighters, the county and city officials, the forestry and NC Forestry folks who worked so hard to get those fires back under control. But we can't just react and only put out fires. We have to try to work to prevent them. We have to do all that we can from get them from starting in the first place and spreading in our communities. That means investing more in debris removal and land and waterway rehabilitation so we can reduce the risk of wildfires. We also have to prepare for future flooding by prioritizing resilience in our floodplains and protecting our wetlands, which help absorb water flow. The actions we take now can save us tremendous loss and heartbreak in the future. Above all, we need to know and understand what it means to truly rebuild. We have to have a holistic understanding of what it takes for communities to thrive. If people don't have homes, they won't rebuild their lives here. So we have to get people back in housing. If people don't have jobs, they won't stay here. So we have to support small businesses. If people don't have reliable internet or utilities, they will not rebuild here. So we must expand broadband and think about how we can make our communication systems more resilient. Where we go from here directly impacts whether people stay here. County commissioners have been a strong and important partner to me throughout my time in public service. Just look at what we were able to accomplish together to hold the opioid manufacturers accountable so that we could tackle the opioid addiction crisis. Our partnership helped North Carolina become a national leader and model, and you all are putting the fruits of that collective effort to work in your communities as we speak, saving lives and improving health. So I know that we can come together to do hard and important things because we have done that in the past. Let's do that together as we rebuild Western North Carolina. Let's come together. Let's keep working. Let's build a safer, stronger, and more resilient Western North Carolina. Thank you all for what you do for your constituents.